you know, fall of 2015, I was feeling really bad, and I was that guy that probably didn't go to the doctor every time you have a headache or a pain, and but I was really feeling bad, and actually played golf that day and left the golf course. Just I've never pulled myself out of a golf match, and I pulled myself out of the golf match because I was just feeling so bad, and got home and told my wife, and she said, you're running a little bit of fever, so we need to go to the Premier ER. And of course, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And she's like, no, we're going. So we go to the Premier, do all the tests, and find out I had food poisoning, severe food poisoning of all things. And while we were there, I told the doctor, hey, my left side has really been bothering me. I couldn't hardly swing a golf club today. Just while I'm here, is there something we could do? So they did a CT scan, and the CT scan come back that there was a pretty good sized mass in my left kidney internally. And he was like, I'm not saying this is cancer, but it's solid. And when it's solid, we need to get some attention to it. So immediately I got with Donnie Stewart here in Waco, who's amazing, and did a little more test, and come to find out it was a tumor with renal cell carcinoma. And it was, 4.8 centimeters, pretty good size at that point. But, it was probably the one time I felt like, thank God for food poisoning, or I wouldn't have found out. It's crazy how a lot of these are found. You find them in different ways with different symptoms, but it was found. Wasn't really too worried about it. My wife and I were together at the Premier and hospital, and our emergency room, and we left there thinking, we're going to be strong. Let's see what it is before we get too excited, and not worry about it. And it was a few weeks later that we found out it was renal cell carcinoma cancer, and it was pretty aggressive. Um, so we immediately got with Dr. Stewart again, and set up the surgery to have my left kidney removed, with the hopes of being one and done. A lot of people are one and done, and I was just thinking, we'll be one and done. We caught it, we'll be good. We'll move on. Um, but in 2017, through a scan, we had found it came back to my right kidney at that point. So at that point, we were introduced to UT Southwestern, and met with the doctors there, um, had a scheduled surgery to remove that tumor in my right kidney, and man, it's just been a foot race ever since. Renal cell carcinoma is a kidney cancer that, there's cancer cells, and um, once them cancer cells move around, whatever they grab onto turns to a tumor, and it's all still kidney cancer, but it's just moving throughout your body, and it's been a foot race the last 10 years, trying to catch this stuff and slow it down. And we haven't had a lot of positive responses of 10 years of treatments and chemos and radiation in my neck and immunotherapies, different pills. We've never had a great response to it. Even 2018, I think, is when they titled me stage 4, because it was in several locations. Um, but even then, my wife and I never gave up the fight or the prayer or the possibility of beating this. And it's still to this day, I'm never going to give up that fight. The faith over the fear part. Early on, it was tough, and I'm guilty of maybe asking, God, why? What did I do to deserve this? It's normal to feel that way, but the faith over fear has probably been in play for me since day one, but I've learned over the last 10 years, that if I had to pick my therapy, prayer has been absolutely amazing. And the faith over fear has to be in place for the prayer to work. You have to believe, and I truly believe, and I'm truly blessed to have so many people, as you know, praying for me. And man, I just can't believe that, I have that many people that love us enough that would pray for us. And I know that's what has got me through this, the faith over fear. Yeah, so and I was that guy, when I knew people were sick or had cancer or any kind of illness, I was that guy that would call and go, "Hey man, how you feeling?" You know, not knowing the damage that does, and I don't mean it in a rude way. I never do, and I hope people understand that. Don't ask me how I'm feeling, just tell me that you're praying was something and a way for me to I have a big family. I love my family. I have 5 daughters. I have a lot of cousins. I have a lot of aunts and uncles, and we are a very tight family. And, I would get 20 calls a day. "How you feeling?" And finally, I just felt like, I don't wanna be rude. I love my family. They have the right to know, but faith over fear. I need them to have the faith over the fear with me. So that's where I come up with, don't ask me how I'm feeling every day. Just tell me that you're praying. Talking about it is important at times with my wife and with my family, but talking about it every day is a negative, depressing thought, and out of sight, out of mind, right? So that's where I tried to put it, out of sight, out of mind. And I'll give you a good example. I love Bobo Bowling. He would call me now and he's like, "I'm not going to ask you how you feeling, but I just want you to know I love you and we're praying for you." And, it made it so much better. And my dad, my mom, my brothers and sisters, my kids, they all caught on to that and they understand what that means now. And I understand what it means. When I know someone going through what I'm going through today, I don't ask them how they're feeling. What's the point? I just tell them that I'm praying. And Russ, I've been in that situation several times. I go to UT Southwestern every 3 months to scan, and I'm sitting in a room full of people, and it's sad. It's hard. It's sad and hard to watch people go through the treatments and just the mental breakdown of knowing that you're in trouble. Your health is in trouble. But I've been in a situation to where even my doctor said, "Wes, did you talk to this guy in the waiting room last week?" And I said, "I did." And I was just like, "Hey, man, my name is Wes, and I'm not going to call his name, but he was a UPS driver in Dallas." And I was just sitting there. We're both waiting, and I'm like, "Well, hey, man, are you a patient of same doctor?" And he said, "Yes, I am." And I'm like, "Well, you know, uh, what are you fighting?" And he's like, "Man, I got a tumor in my kidney, and it's renal cell carcinoma. It's kidney cancer, and they found it about a year ago. It's too small to do anything with right now, but it is renal cell. Um, they found it in his adrenal gland, little spot, and then in his kidney." And he was like, right now it's just, I've never seen a guy so beat up over it. And I let him share his story. And I sat there and I even asked him, "Man, can I pray with you?" And we prayed together. And he said, "But by the way, what's your story?" And I said, "Well, same thing." And he's like, "Well, what stage are you?" I'm like, "Man, actually, I'm stage 4. I've had a kidney removed and then half of my right kidney removed, an adrenal gland. It's in my lungs. It's in my neck. Um, it's just a chase. It's a mind over matter. A lot of prayer, but I stay positive. I think I was born a positive person, and that's a great thing." And he said, "Wes, I am so glad I met you. I'm beating myself up every day, not wanting to go to work, not involving myself with my family and my kids, feeling sorry for myself. And I know God put you here for a reason. And I want to thank you for the positive testimony you just told me. And Russ, I've been in that situation several times, and I hope it does help people. I really do. I really, it's a tough one to answer because I can't answer it probably correctly, but I want to. I don't know what I would do without my wife. In the worst situations of chemo, radiation, um, just being sick every day, Jasmine is the most incredible person God has ever put in my life. And I know a big reason I do so well is because of the support and the love from such a good person, day in and day out, never giving up. If anyone keeps swinging, it's her. And I've learned from her. We got to just keep swinging together. And I'm so blessed to have a person that spiritually is connected. She's the backbone of this family, and she is my spiritual leader. And she reminds me daily, of the things that are important. I don't know if you notice, I don't think anyone posts more scriptures than my wife does on Facebook. And that's such a big deal for me to know that, my person is my wife, and the support she gives is next to none. It's incredible. And a final, keep swinging, faith over fear. Don't ask me how I'm feeling. Tell me that you're praying with all due respect, or things that have helped push me through this. And if there's a Bible verse, 2 Corinthians 12:9, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. And that Bible verse since day one has been my verse. It's not a long, drawn out verse, but it gets to the point. Um, you know, God is really in control. He's going to punch that ticket when He wants to punch that ticket. And I really feel like that He gives us all talents, and He gives us ways to witness, or He gives us, an opportunity to help others. And I believe He's given me an opportunity and a talent to help others. I want my kids and my family to be proud. I really do. I don't do it for that reason, but if I'm going to do this, I want to make them very proud. When the fight is over, if that day comes, I want them to look back and say, my dad, my husband, my cousin, my friend, handled this with the utmost respect and fought hard to do what he could do to give back, to help others, to selfishly help myself, if that makes sense. I really believe that's what we're supposed to do.